Alright, what is up, YTAC people? I wanted to get another video out to kind of clarify in more than 3 minutes what this challenge is going to be for this weekend. Basically, the first thing I want to say is that it'll be due on Monday before the meeting, before that 4:30 meeting, a few hours beforehand, maybe. And the amount of money that will be in the winner is determined on how many people participate. So if you win and there were 2 entries, you will not make as much money as if you win and there are 20 entries. Basically, the more people that participate, the higher the competition, the higher the payout. Basically, what this competition is a sort of like a baseball Pokemon card sort of dealio, right? You take the players that are in the YTAC Rocket League competition and you somehow make a system that can predict a victory. With that being said, you do not have to have an entire server or an entire 200 lines of code just getting stats for each player or anything. You can see I have a very simplified version here. I threw this code together in like 30 minutes, and basically it's super easy code. The only thing is it has a random integer factor, so you could, if you had a skill system where you could choose what players were on a team and then match it up or whatever, you could go as complicated or as simple as you like, but the best project will win. For this little demo that I made here, import a random. This is what it does. It just says, right now we have our houses. We have our Phoenix, Cypher, Omen, and our Sage. And then there's the coach is in here. The house champion for each is here. The house leader is here. And basically I just said the coaches are going to, on average, on a scale of 1 to 10, are going to perform either as an 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. The champions will play on a scale from 7 out of 10 to 9 out of 10, and the house leader will play from 5 out of 10 to 8 out of 10. You could do this however you wanted. This is the way that I chose to do it for this little demo. But basically, what it does is every time you run this code, it will take a random integer for each of these players on their team and then add up the team totals. You could do this backwards to how I have it and figure out what 2 teams are playing and then determine the skill level, but I just did skill level of all of them and then determine how many teams or which teams are playing. On this, just for clarity, I have the print going for how much skill each team possesses in any given random event that runs through, and that's displayed here. And then I have this input where you are asked, the user is asked what 2 houses they want to play, and then it basically right here in this if string is just checking to see what did they say. If ask1 is Phoenix, Cypher, Omen, or Sage, it'll set it to that respective team and that value that was determined up here, their skill value. So this does the same thing except for team 2. And then this winner if statement basically just says if the first team has more skill value than the second team, it'll say a message that says it wins, and the opposite is true if skill 2 is a higher skilled value. So if I run through this, I could just say the first house is Cypher, the second house is Phoenix, and we can see it says Phoenix beats Cypher beat Phoenix, and then you can see, well, there's 23 skill for Phoenix, 24 for Cypher, and then every time I run through this, it's a random value. That could be, I don't know, if you had a set of players that were feeling a little rusty, maybe their hands were cold, you could set this up however you like. I think it'd be more interesting if this line that said what skill values there were wasn't up there, but you could just have it and then now it's just whatever the guess is. So like tonight, I'm predicting that Cypher will be in the finals with Sage, and this little magic 8 ball essentially is telling me that Cypher will beat Sage. Just like that Choose Your Own Adventure challenge that I set out a few weeks ago. There's a video on that if you want to see some examples, as well as the winner's code and the base code that I designed the challenge off of is both available to you. Basically, you can take this very simple principle and just set variables equal to numbers, and then have essentially if statements to determine what variables are what team is what value is what, and who would win. You're going to do all this very simply and just expand on it. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. As a reminder, this will be due on Monday afternoon before that meeting. And the more people that submit a simulation, we'll call it, the larger the payout will be. Again, feel free to ask any questions if you have them, but if not, good luck.